Hi, and this will be a different kind of video, and you can see here it's kind of gonna be a super boring lecture. It's not actually a lecture, it's just me sitting here talking about what I think. And the main point is actually it doesn't matter what I think, I'm just trying to show you the actual facts, what bridge rules are. And I want to talk about bridge ethics, at least what people usually call bridge ethics, and I don't like the term, and maybe I can try to explain why I don't like the term. And the term is obviously nice, people want to be ethical, but it feels like an optional thing where it's like if you're an ethical person, like a nice person, you want to help other people, you will follow ethical rules, otherwise maybe you won't. So I don't know, returning your shopping cart or something like this. And it's actually not that. Like nobody would say like following suit in bridge is about ethics. It's about following suit. It's the rule. You have to follow suit. If you have a spade and a spade has been played, you have to follow suit. You have to play the spade. It's not about, well, if you feel like it, you should. It's nice if you play a spade, but if you don't, it's also fine, right? Of course, calling somebody unethical sounds quite bad, but it also sounds like, well, maybe they have this cutthroat attitude and they want to get ahead. Okay, so the main source of bridge ethics is Law 16b. You can go through the laws yourself, and I'm gonna try to not read the whole thing, but so basically you have extraneous information. It could be remarks, questions, replies to questions, unexpected alerts or failures to alert, unmistakable hesitation, unwanted speed, which is some fancy SAT word, which I don't even know. Unaccustomed or unusual. Okay. So for example, unwanted speed would be in some high level auction where we both bid, I don't know, hearts and spades, and our opponents just bid 5 hearts, then it would be quite unusual to pass in tempo, so to speak, like, I mean, instantly. You would usually take a few seconds just to look at your hand, look at the auction, and then pass, if you're gonna pass. So it would usually take 4 or 5 seconds at least, even if there's no stop card. So there, like an unwanted speed would be an instant pass, and you should try to avoid that as well. Anyway, special emphasis, tone, gesture, movement, or mannerism. For example, a lot of people would double and like kind of snap the double card on the table, and the takeout double would be like a slow, like you just slide it on the table. Tone, gesture, movement, mannerism. And this is 16, so 16b1a. This is probably the law that people know the least. A player may not choose a call or play that is demonstrably suggested over another by unauthorized information if the other call or play is a logical alternative. I mean, so what you need to do is figure out which logical alternatives you have. So section B also tells us what it is. Logical alternative is an action that a significant proportion of the class of players in question would seriously consider and some might select. So I don't know if it's between bidding game or not bidding game, then if there's a significant proportion of people who would consider bidding game and some people would actually bid game, then it's a logical alternative. And then if I have some information, like it's called UI, so it's called unauthorized information here, right? If this UI tells me that I should not bid game, then I should bid game, and the other way around. So if I have some information that bidding game will be more successful than average, then I should not do it, if it's not completely clear. Anyway, that's the whole law. It's not some complicated thing. But then, what does it tell us? So actually you have a very interesting article which explains us very well. I really like it. It's from Andrew Gumpers. It's written about 10 years ago, but it's still correct. It's kind of a long thing, but Is it unethical to hesitate because it communicates UI? Absolutely not. Yeah, so you can always hesitate. It's always fine. It's just that your partner will have some extra burden, right? Um, you may present partner with an ethical dilemma when you hesitate. And again, I don't like this wording, but it's just so standard that I feel like yeah, everybody uses it. So if you don't use it, then people are confused. Like, what are you talking about, right? Anyway, and this is what I actually don't like when people say that you're exploiting received UI. Yeah, that's terrible, but also just trying to ignore UI is also bad. So you're not supposed to ignore it, you're supposed to take it into account and do the opposite, kind of. So, mm, what should I do? Yeah, exactly. So this is the most important part. If you notice a hesitation or any action that communicates UI, such as meaningful grimace or comment, ask yourself, what are the logical alternative bids I could make at this point? What bids would a rational player consider at this point of the auction? For example, if your partner's slow new suit call is forcing pass is not a logical alternative, but raising or bidding a new suit yourself would be. Um, Ask yourself what the UI means and if it makes one of the LA's logical alternatives more attractive. For example, in a competitive auction, partner slow pass might suggest he wanted to bid, which implies he holds extra values. Well, it depends what it is. So let's say if we're bidding hearts against spades, um, and I don't know, let's say my partner opened one heart and went one heart, one spade, two hearts, two spades, slow pass. It probably means that partner, not necessarily more values, but maybe just longer hearts. So it's just extra of offense rather than extra points. But yeah, you get the drift. So slow pass means that partner thought of competing, and now you have to, unless it's very clear, you have to refrain from competing because that's apparently what your partner was doing. So you can also think about it. It's kind of my wording would be, you're trying to punish partner for it, like, and you don't have to do it in a mean way. And of course, I often do it in a mean way, and it's bad. You shouldn't be mean to your partner no matter what they did, but you can try to do it as kind of like a role playing game. Like you would be like, what would somebody do if they wanted to punish their partner? So then, well, you wanted to compete. Now I'm gonna make sure I'm not gonna compete. And it's the same if your partner makes the wrong alert or doesn't alert, then you're gonna make sure that the misunderstanding costs as much as it possibly can rationally. So it's something like that. Anyway, um, so frequently you won't know for sure. Then in those cases, knowledge of partner may help. So it depends. It depends on your partner. Like basically that's the point. Like if you know your partner, the more you know your partner, the worse it is when partner does something other than using a poker face, everything in tempo, looking straight down, looking at their card only. If they do stuff around the table and they're not dummy or declarer, then it's very very dangerous basically because your partner can read you very well, and it means that they have UI non-stop. Like that's why it's very important to keep like a kind of a relaxed but like kind of a uniform attitude. Like don't act super tense or don't act super chill depending on if you have many points or few points. Like your partner can read it, and of course the corollary is your opponents can also read it, and you don't want that either. So that's why you should try to act normally, rationally, and kind of an even tempo and an even manner of doing stuff. I personally like to sit quite relaxed at the table, like you can see, kind of leaning back and keeping my card and just playing kind of normally, and I try to keep it up as much as I can, and other people like to sit like very straight up and very serious. It doesn't matter what you do as long as you do the same thing. Uh, and of course, when you're a declarer, you're allowed to like if some suit breaks badly or something, you're always allowed to be angry or something. It's fine. If you're a defender, and let's say your partner made a bad switch, you should never express anything until trick 13. So trick 13, after trick 13, you're allowed to like, well, actually you're not really allowed. There's another law for that, but at least it's not passing UI to like shout at your partner or be angry or anything. It's bad for your partnership, and it's also not allowed in bridge. It's there's, like I said, there's a law about being courteous at all times, so don't do it. But in terms of like passing unauthorized information, it's fine because you don't hold any cards. It's fine, right? But while you're defending, you should always, 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 always look at your cards, express nothing, try to just do everything in an even tempo and so on. If your partner did something annoying or there was some switch and it didn't work, whatever it is, don't express it. If you're a declarer, you can express yourself as long as you're not doing it as theater, right? So if you're running a suit and somehow it breaks 5-1 or whatever, then you're allowed to say like, damn it, or it's fine because you're only communicating with the defenders basically, and they can use it. So actually you shouldn't do it because you give them extra information. But yeah, so anyway, going back, that's actually the most important thing, this part here. There's an irony about the process I've suggested. In step 2, I ask you to consider what your partner's UI means. That is, I am asking you to intentionally read your partner's break in tempo rather than ignore it. This seems odd to many, but it is an important part of actively refusing to exploit UI. Why is ignoring not enough? Consider this scenario. You open 1-0 trump, 15-17, when holding a good 14, and your partner raises to 2-0 trump, inviting game. You're an aggressive... What? You're an aggressive player, so bidding 3-0 trump is normal for you. What? What? Anyway, I've read this before somewhere where they said that if you upgraded the 14 count, you should accept an invite, but I never understood why, and I still don't. Okay, it's fine. That's about bridge, not about bridge ethics. So let's. If you upgrade a 14 count, it means that you think it's worth 15 rather than 17, right? Anyway, it doesn't matter. So maybe like 14 count with kind of, I don't know, running 6 card clubs or so, then you would say like either 2-0 trump is going down or 3-0 trump is making, but whatever, it's fine. If your partner is submitting 3-0 trump is normal for you. However, your partner's 2-0 trump is slow enough to suggest he holds a maximum invite, given that you hold only 14 high card points, passes clearly on LA, or logical alternative. I would rather write it with A, but whatever. A logical alternative to 3-0 trump, and many players who are more risk averse than you will prefer it to 3-0 trump, even though without the UI you would make the aggressive 3-0 trump call. You cannot do it now. That's definitely true, yeah, but honestly, I would never accept it anyway, even if somehow I knew that my partner misclicked and wanted to pass, or wait, what would it be? If I know that partner's 2-0 trump was a misclick and he wanted to bid 3-0 trump, then kind of the LA would be, yeah, whatever, you know what I mean. It's if the logical alternative suggested passing, I would still pass, because I don't think 3-0 trump is a logical alternative. I don't know, whatever, depends on the hand, I guess. But okay, so some players take this too far. They think that knowing their partner has a maximum, they must pass 2-0 trump regardless of their hand. Well, I have never met that player, and I would actually love to see them. That is not so, of course. Yeah, I mean, if you have a 17 count, you would accept. Pretending the UI did not occur is like trying to pretend that the bell has not rung was not wrong, impossible. Instead, you must consider the sound of the bell, what it means, and then, when the choice is closed, consciously decide to take a bid not suggested by the ring. When the choice is clear from the merits of your own hand, then make your preferred call. Yeah, of course. And then here you have some hands. I don't know. It doesn't really matter too much. Um, mm, there's some explanations there. You can try to go through them. Actually, what I wanted to do is not even show you this article. Is to show another article. This is written by David Byrne, and I love it. I love all of the. Uh, his writing is always great, and let's just go through this together. It's not a long read. And this is actually in a response to another case where maybe I will show you the hand after. Your partner is a local expert with whom you are playing for the first time. You have gathered that her methods, to which you've agreed, include strong no trump, two plus clubs, one diamond, usually five, but maybe 4 for one with a stiff club, 5 card majors. Keep it simple. Your hand as dealer at an unimportant form of scoring and any vulnerability is 3, 2, 4, 4. You open one club because one diamond would promise a less balanced hand than this, and one no trump would promise more points. Left hand opponent overcalls one spade, partner doubles, and right hand opponent passes. What call do you make? So it went one club, one spade, double, pass, and it's up to us. For those who've not already posted that I should have made this a bidding ball, this isn't a bidding ball. This is an article about how to help you do something Michael Rosenberg and I think you should do, not break in tempo in tempo-sensitive situation. So this is a tempo-sensitive situation. And he's going to explain to us why. You're painfully aware that some people play a 2-diamond rebid by you as a reverse. I played 2 that way, by the way. You don't know whether your partner is one of them, but if she is, you'd better not rebid 2 diamonds. You are also aware that some people who play 2 diamonds as a reverse play that 1 no trump doesn't necessarily show a spade stop. You don't know whether partner is one of them, but if you rebid 1 no trump and get raised to 3 and lose 5 spade tricks, an eyebrow might be raised. Maybe you should rebid 2 clubs. After all, you have 2 more of those than you've so far promised, but partner may think on seeing your hand that you have at least 1 fewer. You don't know what to do, so you dither before doing something, and this means that whatever you do, partner will know that you don't know what to do. Yeah, and that's the point, so you shouldn't hesitate here. It's a very common rebid situation. You should always be just prepared. And it's actually quite a nasty thing to do, like to hesitate in very simple situations. You are the local expert. Now from the other side, of course. You are the local expert, playing with an earnest student of the game for the first time. You have outlined your methods, and he has given every sign of comprehension. Your hand in 3rd position at an unimportant form of scoring and any vulnerability is this. So it's a 13 count with 3, 4, 2, 4. Partner opens 1 club, right hand opponent bids 1 spade, you double, left hand opponent passes, partner bids 1 no trump. What call do you make? You're aware that some earnest students of the game play that because 2 diamond is a reverse, 1 no trump might not have a spade stop. You bid a careful 2 spades, over which partner bids 3 clubs. 3 no trump is out of the question now, but he might have 2 low spades, so you give him 4 clubs passed out for a plus 130. Beautifully done. Well, maybe. That 1 no trump wasn't, shall we say, in perfect tempo. Can you be sure in your heart of hearts that you wouldn't have raised a sans souci 1 no trump to 3? Or are you, as Michael Rosenberg puts it, a basher who has become a flexor? I actually don't know what that is, but could this whole business have been avoided? So basically here, like, third hand had the unauthorized information that partner probably has an issue, so the 1 no trump rebid had some kind of a problem, and usually that means that partner didn't have a spade stop. So basically, if 3-note trump is a logical alternative, then you should just pick it and not check back for a spade stop. Now it depends a little. Like if you really clearly agreed to it, then maybe it's allowed. But it depends a little on the situation. But definitely, a 1-note trump in tempo would have been the best, right? So sure, it could, but the way in which it could have been avoided is not one that players at any level regularly put into practice, and yet is this something that is advocated in just about any beginner's textbook. Plan your next action when deciding on your current one. I have a reputation as a very fast player. This is entirely justified. One of my proudest achievements was when I played with one of the slowest players in England, and as we rose from the table, he said, "We'd better hurry, they've all started the next round." They had, in fact, 15 minutes left in the current round. One of the reasons I play quickly is that, like Skid Simon, I have a genius for recognizing in seconds that I will not know what to do if I think for hours. Another is simply this: I have the habit of thinking after I've done something right. What will happen if the auction goes like this, or like that, or like the other, and it comes back to me? On the hand, at the start of this article, for example, I will have already decided when I open one club that if it goes one major on the left, double pass, I will bid one spade if that major was hearts, 1-note trump if it was spades. That way, partner will be free to act as carefully or otherwise as she likes. If it turned out that we play 3-note trump off the spade suit, she can tell me afterwards that I could have rebid 2 clubs or 2 diamonds, and I will nod sagely, and our opponents will leave the table not feeling that they have been robbed. On the other day, only the other day, Fred Gittleman was talking about someone who took a while to lead after 1-note trump all passed. What did you have to think about? Did you never see this auction before? Just lead. Quite right too. And yet, bridge players don't think like this. When they lead, say, the 5 of spades after a dither, partner will not be so keen to play them for king 10 6-2. 6-5-2 as if they'd led it right away. Instead, they'll play them for 5-3, and having read some pernicious piece of computer-inspired literature, this is the Bird Antje books that he's referring to, and make some brilliant surrounding play when they get in a trick 4. So they mean in some other suit, right? When it goes 1-note trump on your right and you have some nondescript collection, start thinking what you're going to lead if it gets passed out or raised to 3. Then when it does, you can save partner a lot of pressure, particularly if you're gonna make a lead that you know could be tricky to read. What does this have to do with anything? Well, suppose you've got 5 diamonds to the ace and not much else. The opponents conduct an auction, and I'm going to show you this auction in a second. It goes on forever. In the middle of it, partner doubles some control bid in diamonds. Eventually, left-hand opponent bids 7 spades. Unless you're firmly in the habit of thinking every time, what will I do if, you might not be ready for right-hand opponent's conversion to 7-note trump. And yet, I remarked a long time ago when I was commentating on Real Viewgraph, the BBO version was several years in the future, that bridge players never thought in parallel, only in series. In competitive auction, someone would think and bid, then the next guy would think and bid, and so it went. The play was exactly the same. Someone would huff and puff and pull out a card and pull it back and finally play one, only to have the performance repeated by a left-hand opponent. Bridge is a thinking game. No one attempts to deny that, least of all I or Michael Rosenberg. But there isn't a rule that says you can't think when it's not your turn to act. You can play in tempo if you try, and I'll buy you a drink when we meet in the bar, while the thinking series people will still have 15 minutes of the current round left. And so this was the article, and I love it. And I mean, at least if you're watching my videos, I think you will see that I think I'm doing this, although to be fair, it's also a little easier this way for me because I'm on YouTube and I have to fill out fill up all these pauses, right? And while I'm filling up these pauses, I'm actually planning what I'm gonna do next. And the thing is, I think I'm doing it in real life as well, but not that I'm some amazing person or very ethical. Like I said, I'm breaking this rule of being polite at the table occasionally, and probably several others. I don't know. But about this, like planning my auction and trying to do everything in tempo, I'm doing it pretty well. And for example, if I know that I need to pass, or I probably need to pass, then I'm gonna pass in tempo rather than looking for some other action. Uh, if I need to think for a while, or if I have thought for a while already what I do, then I usually bid rather than pass, because passing is always it causes a lot of trouble. So what was this 7-0 trump? Just to finish off. Let's see. So this was the 7-0 trump hand. So basically they were in 7-0 trump off the ace king of diamonds. It was Levin and Grew. One spade, one heart, one spade, three spades. I guess maybe one spade showed 5 already, because maybe they play Flannery, but we will not find out. This is a cubit. This is also a cubit. Now Glubok doubled it. East denied first round control. There was a key card, 5 spade, 2 without the queen, 7 spade, and then now Joe Grew bid 7 on trump and made a comment. I will show it to you in a second, but now here apparently South thought for a while, and it was agreed before passing, because apparently I think it's a she. I think she thought about doubling, right? And now North just led a diamond, and this is what the question is about. So this is with screen. So North and East are sitting together, and South and West are also sitting. So of course, sitting together. So of course, when you see that the tray comes back delayed, then obviously West wasn't thinking of what to do. West has a single legal call. It's pass. It's your partner bid 7 on trump, and it hasn't been doubled. So West is gonna pass. So the only person who could have hesitated was South, and the opening lead was the 4 of diamonds. It went down 2 because, well, of course, it could go down 5 if she plays the 10, but it's a bit of a gamble. So you would just take the ace king. The director said that score stands, but the director planning panel, so the appeal won. So East West appealed, and they won. So East made a comment while they waited for the tray. Maybe I should not have done that because partner might be void. So East, while waiting for South to decide what's going on, East was just being nice. It's quite common that you talk to your screen mate, because you cannot pass unauthorized information again. You could try to mislead them, but that's not allowed, and people wouldn't want to do it anyway. At least I don't think that's common. Like misleading your opponents with your remarks. I think that's not something that happens. So they polled 6 players with the auction and comment. What would you lead? And what lead does the hesitation without the comment suggest? In response to the first question, 3 of the pollees said that they would lead a diamond, and the same player said that the hesitation suggested the diamond lead. The other 3 players said that they would not lead a diamond. 2 of those pollees said that the hesitation suggested nothing. The third said that partner would have doubled clubs with the ace of clubs and doubled 7 on trump with the ace of diamonds, so he would not lead a diamond anyway, and that the comment was irrelevant for him. So let's try to figure out if the director did their job properly. Of course, I'm not the director, and so like my opinion should count the least. But apparently, this one director was overruled by several others. Um, so we consider that either the comment or the hesitation in isolation were enough to wake the leader up to the possibility of defeating the contract. Also, the fact that half the police did not think that the hesitation suggested the diamond meant that the break in tempo, in our opinion, did not demonstrably suggest the winning action, and that the action allegedly suggested by the break in tempo was also suggested by the authorized information. The appeal. The comment was irrelevant as per the police. The hesitation clearly indicated possession of an ace. A lead from a king against a Grand Slam is highly unlikely, especially when the location of the king is known. So there is no guess on alternative lines of play. That's interesting, yeah. Only with the knowledge that partner has an ace would one choose a lead that could give away a trick. Well, so this is their case. So this is like East West are making their case. It's not what the directors are saying. Yeah. Okay, a further poll was conducted. 5 players were walked through the auction. When asked what they would lead, 2 chose a diamond. With 1, the king was considered. One considered a spade or a diamond. 1 considered a spade or a club, and 1 chose a spade. When given the information that the tray was slow, all deemed this suggested a diamond lead. Based on the new polling, it was determined that the pause of the tray suggested a diamond lead, and all other leads were logical alternatives. Therefore, the result was adjusted to 7, no trump by East was making. Yeah, I think the appeal was right. I just don't see why. I mean, so I think. So the question is, does the break in tempo suggest a diamond lead? I think it does. I mean, yeah, that's basically it. I mean, it's the only his partner has an ace, and the only ace that partner could have is the ace of diamonds. So I don't know, because West showed a diamond cue, and it could be the void. So that's what the break in tempo suggests anyway. Whatever authorized information you have, East denied first round control, so East clearly doesn't have the ace, and then East mentioning that maybe my partner doesn't have the ace kind of helps your thinking, but it doesn't mean that the pause didn't suggest it, so it just doesn't matter, I think. Yeah, I think they got it right. We can try to look through the comments, but I'm not really interested that much. So yeah, that's basically it. Always try to look for the logical alternatives. Look for stuff like the UI, so the unauthorized information suggest, and don't make one of those. And that's basically it. I don't know how much fun this was. Probably it's not so much fun, and I would say, like, personally, and I know I will sound like somehow sanctimonious or like, I don't know, holier than thou, but it's actually very irritating to be in a club or be in an environment, and almost every environment is like this, where I can see people use or like fail to apply these rules all the time, and I'm the only idiot in the room, kind of. That's what it feels like, at least, who is taking these things seriously, and then basically just because I know the rules kind of better than they are, than they know them, that actually gives me worse results. So I don't know, I really hate it, and it's just not fun. And I mean, I'm sure this is like super self-serving, and I'm being very selfish here and very, I don't know, whatever, full of myself. I'm just telling you what it feels like to me, and maybe I'm wrong about all of this. But for example, what happened to me a few times is um, I would tell a partner, like, I would hesitate and pass. It happens to everyone, right? I hesitate and pass, and then after the board, I would tell my partner, sorry, I didn't mean to do this slow pass. I just didn't know what to do. I'm sorry. And the partner would be like very confused. Why are you apologizing? I would say, well, it makes your life harder. You have to like do all this logical alternative stuff, and they just had no idea what I'm talking about. It's like, yeah, okay, that's great, thanks. Deep breath. Okay, tempo is important. Try to plan your action in advance and try to follow the rules. And it's not being ethical or unethical. It's just the rules. Thanks for coming to my TED talk. See you tomorrow.